Okay, let's talk about one of those moments in a boarding house. You know, the ones that every single one of us dreads. A moment that demands absolute clarity right when all of our instincts might be screaming at us to do something else. We're going to walk through a framework that can give us that clarity when it matters most.
So let's just put ourselves right in that situation for a second. A student comes up to you, maybe they look totally panicked, maybe they're trying to play it cool, but they show you an image on their phone and your stomach just drops. It is not okay. So what's the very next thing you do? Not what you're thinking about for tomorrow, but right then and there, in that first minute. This is where all the training hits the real world, and it hits it fast.
Thankfully, we are not starting from a blank page here. We're going to be leaning on a really practical, helpful guide. It's Scenario 9 from Richard Armstrong's Boarding House Micro CPD library. It's designed for this exact moment, to give us that essential confidence right when we really, really need it. That first minute, honestly, it's everything. The goal isn't to solve the entire problem right away. Think of it more like dropping an anchor in the middle of a storm. This is all about establishing a calm, safe procedure in a moment that feels chaotic and, let's be honest, deeply alarming. And just look at how simple and direct this is. 3 steps. First, calmly ask for the device. Second, and this is so important, do not view the image yourself beyond what you might have seen by accident. And third, you secure the device, but you have to resist every single urge to start scrolling through it. Each one of these steps is designed to de-escalate the situation and, just as importantly, to protect everybody involved, and that includes you.
This right here, this really gets to the heart of our job, doesn't it? The student is almost certainly going to be panicked, or defensive, or trying to pretend it's no big deal. Our professional duty in that moment is to be the exact opposite. Clinically calm, serious, focused entirely on procedure. This is not the time for a moral lecture, it's a time for us to manage our own emotional response. Our calm provides the stability that the situation is just crying out for.
Okay, so we've managed our internal response, or calm. Now, what do we actually say? And, maybe even more critically, what are the actions that we absolutely have to avoid, no matter what? The wording here is so important. Let me just say it in the tone that's recommended. Something like this. I need you to put the phone down now. I have a responsibility to report this, and it is for your protection. Did you hear what that does? It's not angry, it's not judgmental, it is factual, it's direct, and it frames the action, the reporting, as protective, which is exactly what safeguarding is all about. Now, this is where it can get really tricky, because our instinct as carers is often to help, right? To solve the problem, to make it go away. But it's precisely those good intentions that can lead to serious harm and put us in massive legal trouble. There are some very bright, hard lines here that we just cannot cross.
And here they are, the absolute non-negotiables. Do not photograph, screenshot, or forward that image under any circumstances. I have to stress this. Forwarding the image, even if you're sending it to your designated safeguarding lead, is a criminal act. You risk becoming part of the chain of distribution of illegal material. Don't scroll through the device looking for more. That is not our job. Keep it confidential. And finally, don't try to manage it by deleting anything. Our job is to report, not to resolve. All right, so the immediate crisis is contained. Now, let's just step back for a minute and understand the critical framework that dictates all of those actions. Why are those rules so strict and so important? And here's the stark legal reality of it. This situation might involve what the law calls Indecent Images of Children, or IIOC. The second that's even a possibility, this stops being just a school disciplinary issue. It becomes a potential criminal matter. It doesn't matter who made the image or who shared it. And that is exactly why your designated safeguarding lead must take the lead from this point on.
This lays out the chain of command perfectly, and our place in it. Our responsibility is really simple. You inform the DSL immediately, without delay. That's our part done. From that point, the DSL, who is trained for this, makes the call on whether to involve the police or other agencies. And notice that third step. It is so vital. We do not contact parents until the DSL gives us the green light. Following this chain protects any potential investigation. It protects the student, and it protects us. You know, responding correctly to an incident like this is absolutely vital. But the ultimate goal in our work is always prevention, isn't it? We want to create a boarding community in a digital culture where these kinds of things are just far less likely to happen in the first place. And this is what that proactive work really looks like in practice. It's not a one-off assembly. It's a deep RSE program that talks honestly about digital consent. It's an acceptable use policy that students actually understand and don't just sign on page 1. It's having the right pastoral support in place to ask why a student might be involved. Is there coercion happening? And of course, it includes ongoing staff training like this, so we're all prepared. It's about building a whole foundation of digital safety.
And all of this really brings us to a final and maybe the most important point of reflection. This isn't just about memorizing rules. It's about what this really means for us, personally, in our own professional practice. So I'm just going to read this final question from the source material, and I think it's worth all of us just sitting with it for a moment. Am I fully aware of my own legal exposure if I handle a situation involving potential IIOC incorrectly, even with good intentions? It's a sobering question, isn't it? But it's an essential one, because in these moments, good intentions are not a legal defense. Knowing the procedure and following it is what keeps our students safe, and it's what keeps us safe too. Thank you for taking the time to think this through.